Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I am going to talk about one of the simplest things people think they know how to do, and that is to boil an egg. You're probably going to sit there and say, boiling egg, you put it in, so many minutes and everything else. But when you boil eggs, when you hard boil an egg and you peel it, if you have a gray or a charcoal black or coating the yolk when you take the white off, you have overcooked your eggs and you have pulled the sulfur out, which gives a slight bitterness to boiled eggs. A lot of people are accustomed to eating it, so therefore this is what they get. What you need is a saucepan, and you're going to put some water on and bring it to a rolling boil, which I'm going to do right now. Now you're going to take your eggs out. They have to be cold when you do this, okay? Most people keep them in the refrigerator so you don't have a problem. I'm going to bring this water to a boil. Then what you're going to do is very gently, when it's really boiling hard, it's called a rolling boil, you're going to sit there and gently put your eggs in, hence a spoon, so you can put them in the water. Make sure they're covered. And then what you're going to do is turn that flame down to low, very, very low, and put the lid on it. Leave it for 13 minutes, and you will have a perfectly hard boiled egg without any sulfur coming out or the rubberiness that you get off of the white. You notice sometimes it's not rubbery and other times it is. It's because you mess up on that. And this is how you're going to do it. I'm going to bring that to a boil because I'm making a chicken casserole. Most people make a tuna casserole. I'm going to make a chicken casserole the same way. I'm going to pull out because today is Thursday. Hence, whatever in the refrigerator is going to be put into this meal, and I will be making a cream sauce with it. So let me get the stuff out and we'll start doing this, and I'll show you how the eggs come out as well. I have noticed that if you're going to bring your children into the kitchen to get their skills up and running, salads are one of the simplest things because you can put fruits and vegetables and stuff like that in it, and that's where their prepping skills will really come in. Then their measuring comes in with the vinaigrettes and stuff that you make. They learn to measure and do things like that. Those were some of the first things I learned, and I taught my sons that. My older son wasn't patient. He couldn't understand why I kept on saying, you're going to make the salad. And it was like, I already know how to make salad. Yeah, but he didn't know that what I was teaching him were the skills of prepping. Learning to hold the knife, learning to get comfortable with it, learning your color schemes, because food is also a color scheme. If everything is brown, you're not going to be very interested in the meal. So I was teaching them all of that, and they didn't understand that a salad is actually a very, very important part of cooking and getting things together. So if you've got a little girl and you're bringing her in, my first job was greasing pans. My first dish that I made were salads and vinaigrettes. And by then I knew about measurements and stuff. I learned to make breads. And I could prep vegetables because of it. I could do the potatoes and stuff because I was taught that. All that prepping that went into those salads. I learned the stove when I started doing vegetables and making bread. I learned to work with the ovens and stuff. So you sort of have to walk into this. And as an adult, it's a little difficult because you're accustomed to just buying things and doing this way. These little peppers since I don't have any more bell peppers. I went through them. I don't care about the seeds in these because, like the ARE said and stated, and they're finding this out, seeds have two components that keep cancer away. And the ARE said point blank, eating 2 almonds a day, 2 to 3 almonds a day, fights cancer. So the more processed your foods are, you're missing a lot of things. So I take my time. Like I said, I'm also 72 at this point. So I can take so I used to race. I used to use a pressure cooker. I would get a roast, a stew, and stuff done when we had been out all day and everybody was hungry. Man, whip out a salad with it. I already had bread made. I always have bread in the house. And we would have a nice hot meal, and I could whip it out in 30 minutes. But I hustled. I said, I'm not doing that kind of hustling anymore. I am 72. I'm going to take my time. If it seems methodical, that's all right. I've earned that privilege at my age. Okay. Now the water is boiling. So let's see if I can turn you. I'm going to put you on my cutting board for a minute, all right? See that water? It's boiling. Make sure your eggs are not cracked or you're going to have a problem. Put the lid on. And you're going to leave it for 13 minutes and the eggs will be done. Sandy Cock, idiot, ate after. Nothing else, it's going to be colorful. No, I found some canned chicken I had done 2 years ago, and I said, oh, I forgot about these. It's cleaning out the canned goods and moving new canned goods in, and I realized that. But I want to make orange marmalade. I love orange marmalade. I also want to show you how to make an adult pina colada. You're saying you'd be silly? Of course I am. I know one girlfriend who would love to have a pina colada with me. That's my neighbor. She likes rum. Now, let's put a yellow one in. Like I said, I'll use what I can find when I go towards the end of the week. If I have luncheon meats, you bet I'm going to pull out one and meats. See that motion going like this? That's where you can get your chopping skills down. If you teach your children to how to handle the knife, you get them started in this when they're young, they'll be really good at it. When I think of how my mother cooked, and she was considered a very good cook in the town, and I think of where cooking is now and what we do with food, I could actually say my mother was a bland cooker, but at her time she was very creative with her seasonings. That's why I love to collect seasonings. I think I buy every one in the store and then mix them up. And I hear people say, throw them out every year. And I said, huh? Oh, heck no. I'm not going through that. I'd be out. You know, seasonings are expensive. Like I keep on asking my son to get my ice cream maker down so I can show you how to make ice cream with an ice cream maker. But my sons have not gotten up into the attic to pull it down. So I'm going to have to go up there myself. And then we can start making different kinds of ice cream. Hey. Okay. I'm going back. Throw it in there. Celery has seemed to fallen out of favor. I remember when every recipe called for celery, and now very rarely do I see celery added, yet they're very high in minerals. I know you're listening to me as I chop away. I know I say a lot of things that upset people, but you have to, if you want to understand what's going on with your body, you have to learn these things. You stay ignorant, and then when things go wrong and you sit there and say, why? Well, you drove your body to that point, and I was always told, payback is a bitch, okay? And literally, that's an old phrase. I don't know if you hear it today or not, but payback is a bitch. And the one who pays you back the most, in spite of you thinking maybe person, it is actually your body. Like, Sandy, why don't you date? I'm sure that comes up. I am 72. There isn't a man out there that is not on medication, set in his ways, 72, older than me, because I wouldn't marry somebody younger or even have a boyfriend. And I'd have to care for another sick person. I'm not going through any of that anymore. Buried 2 men in my life, no more. I have too much to do in my life to sit there and think about something like that. And you think about it, if you're an older woman, now we're going to deal with logic here. You think about it. You're up there in age. Find a man older than you. But you're already past childbearing years and everything else, okay? This is a reality check. You marry him and he has children. They're grown and all. When he dies, they're going to take you to court, bring you every which way but loose, no matter what he writes in the wills. I mean, courts now undo the wills left and right. When you write it up, they're not going to get, the children will get, because they are a bloodline. So you'd have to go through all of that, and they'll take point blank, you're not family. You really want to go through all of that? My sister-in-law remarried after her husband died, but they don't live together or anything. It's just say they're married. And I said, what kind of marriage is that? You know? So you end up with a sick husband. He dies, and then you have to deal with your family. Oh, they can like you, and they'll say they like you, When it comes to that will, man, it's cutthroat. And they'll go to court and say, she has nothing from him. Well, that would be a future I would not want to look forward to or be part of. That one's sharp. See, I told you, I hate the scallions the way they're serving them now at the store. I'd rather pick my bunches instead of having them sealed up like. Oh, that's taffy, okay. I'm just cleaning my scallions now. They're old. Just peeling off what I can, and I'll use what I can. Like I bought mint because I needed mint. Mint went bad before I got to it, before the end of the week. I mean, today is the end of the week. It was rotted within 3 days. Vegetables and greens that have minerals and stuff in the ground, they don't go bad fast. But they're really rotating the food now. So that tells you how unhealthy the plants are. So you can't win for losing. I know I talk about this stuff and you're probably saying, you know, when you listen to you, I get very discouraged. You do the best you can. Like my question is, it's a simple question. Why do you have to drink? Why do you have to have marijuana? Is life so bad? I meant as a young person, I tried being stupid. Got the crap scared out of me, and I've been straight ever since, as they say. You know, I don't really have a drink. I'll have a drink with dinner, special meals. That's why I know about beers and wine. My mother taught me. I tried marijuana. Didn't like that. It causes depression. You're in the slumps, so you light up again to keep that feeling away from you. But that is the side effects of it. Alcohol, you get headaches. And you have a sluggish feeling when you get up. I'm getting hungry, so give me a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna have one of my muffins. I'll put some olives in it. That's about all I've got. I don't have that much in the house. So this will be a very simple one. So, really. So I sit there and said, well, the tension of society and stuff, I figured, well, I'm not going to do that, but how can I deal with all the stuff that's dealt with people? And I said, keep my head screwed on, do the best I can, nutritionally. I saw people that I have loved and watched them wither away with medication and everything. Lottie didn't take any. She lived her life. I love Lottie. She was an honorary aunt of my husband's. She didn't take medicine. She wouldn't even see a doctor. She got dentures. I know she got dentures, and she was not happy about that. No, I don't even think. Yeah, she had dentures. Other than that, she didn't take anything. She refused. She was my inspiration. I'll stay healthy, thank you. And she lived in when was she born? 1880s? Wait a minute. She died 1890s. So she was still eating quite well. She grew up at a very good time in her life. Good, wholesome food and all. So she didn't have to worry. So she never got sick. The generation after her, they were getting sick. I mean, we didn't go for well checkups. Unless, when we were little, we did. After that ended in the family. The only time we went is if we absolutely, positively had to. Other than that, we just didn't. So, when my husband, they have to go to see the doctor. Oh, I hated going to a doctor. I still hate going to a doctor. And they did. I mean, I'll go to a chiropractor real quick. I go to my eye doctor if I have to see. That's a pun on words. If I have to see him, but you don't have to. I don't. My point about Matter of fact, the insurance company called and said, but there might be something going on with you. I said, yeah, well, I'm 72 and I'm going to die someday. It's something you have to face the fact with. I watched how my husband went. It started with one medication. By the time he died, oh, I don't even want to think. Some of those medicines, when I hear them, you want to see the anger that just comes across my face. I get just so mad. Almost. See, in my time, I can talk for 70 years. I listened to my grandparents. They were 70, 80, and they could talk. So that took me back to 1870s. She told me she remembers going to Texas in a wagon trail. So she remembers helping the Indians. My grandmother could shoot better than my grandfather. She could shoot the head of an eagle off the barn door from the back porch. She had an eagle eye. And Nanu talked about Italy, how they got drunk. He lost a brother. They rode a log because it was a mill. They had been partying and celebrating. And they sat there, and he got there that he was going to ride the log down the hill. Well, he did. he didn't make it either. There are laws on the books that said you can't have blaring radios. People don't know this. I mean, there's a lot that has happened in my 70 years. Okay, we're going to check these eggs. It's 13 minutes now. Pot holders, Sandra. I'm going to use whatever pasta I have in the house as well. I'm not making it for this one. Alright, the eggs have to be separate from this because these have to be sauteed first. I know, I'm moving everything around. A bit hot. I know you can't see the texture. The texture is much softer with the egg. I've got to put it somewhere. We'll cut these up. They're going to be later. Let me go get the chicken. Well, here's the chicken. This is lemon chicken that I canned. I'm going to save the liquid, and I am going to actually cook the pasta with it and with stock. So I won't be wasting any of the nutrients that went in there, because people say it spills out. Yeah, it can spill out. But I'm taking everything. This is where you use everything and you don't waste. And see, if you want to know the bones are cooked, that's how cooked they are. I break them with my hands. So this is really cooked. So pressure cooking meat, and you have bones in it, believe you me, cooking the minerals out. That's why I won't throw that liquid out, because if I throw that liquid out, I'm going to be throwing all the minerals and everything out. But you just do like that and it breaks. I'm not getting rid of the skin, not getting rid of anything. No, Taffy, you are not going to have my chicken. Let me get some of this out of the way and we'll continue moving on. No, you're not having it. Come on now. I have a very determined cat. Did you notice? Don't yell at me. See? Now I'm going to take the yolk out so you can see. See? That's what you want, is a beautiful yellow like that. Put this with the chicken because the chicken's already cooked. The eggs are already cooked. We'll sort of put them at the end after we've made the sauce. I want you to show you that's a perfectly boiled chicken, and the white is not tough. It's more tender. So eggs is as simple as people say, oh, just fry them, do this and that, and just let's come in water, boil them till done. Because they're so delicate, they're like a crepe. If you go to make a crepe, delicate, so careful, be gentle with me, as they say. Now I'll get the stuff with the sauce in the pan, and we'll start putting this together. Remember, I'm eating. All right, you need 2 cups of milk. And in that 2 cups of milk, you're going to add a 1/2 cup of powdered milk. This will pick up the protein to make sure you get your calcium, which is a natural tranquilizer. Minerals are a natural tranquilizer. That's why I use them. And by the way, those biscuits, the bone biscuits, bone broth biscuit, I mean, oh my God, they are so good. It doesn't even have a nice appealing name to it, but it is so good. I forgot the salt and pepper. Okay, you're going to add salt and pepper to the milk and the powdered milk, according to your taste. I don't even know what I have for parsley. I mean, for pasta yet. I have no fresh parsley, so I'm going to have to use dry parsley. You know, I just do the best I can. To get one. I'm a little heavy-handed with black pepper when I make this dish. If I had pepperoncinis, I would add pepperoncinis in, but I don't have those, so I can't. Powdered milk will not lump in. I added powdered milk and salt and pepper into the regular milk, 2 cups of milk. It doesn't lump, which is really nice. As it sits, it just dissolves. You need 1 stick of butter in a saucepan. Now we might have to add extra milk. I'm not sure yet. You're going to need a 1/2 cup of flour. I'm using whole wheat because I want to cover for the B vitamins. And you're going to need 8 ounces of cheese. I'm going to use cheddar cheese because that's what I have in the house. And like I said, this is whatever I have in the house. Don't ever use a knife like that. You could cut yourself. I know you could sit there and say, well, why aren't you? I get it like that. You're going to cube up your cheese somewhat so it'll melt better, and put it in a bowl on the side. Okay, I am done with the knives. I'm just breaking the cheese up now. We'll get that butter melted. This is basically it. In baking it, I like to put cheese on top of it with wheat germ. Gives it a nice crust. Okay. Got your saucepan. We're going to light it and get the butter melted so we can get the vegetables sauteed. missing? Nothing. I'm eating the last muffin. I'm hungry this morning. I'm really hungry. I don't want to lose this. I know a lot of you probably already know how to make a roux and everything, but there are other people who don't know, so I go through all these steps. No, no, you cannot have the chicken taffy. Go, go. I'm not opening the unintended until you finish that one. People always ask me, why do you buy so much milk? Well, I make my yogurt, my buttermilk, cheeses, and I drink it, and I cook with it. I knew I wasn't going to get a lot of likes on that bone broth biscuits, but you guys are missing out on a treat. And that was lamb shank bone and the duck bone. And you missed out on something really good. My sons, we only have one left. I made 13. They said those were some good. Mommy, those biscuits were fantastic. I said, really? Then I told them what it was. They said, really? I said, yeah. I told them I didn't even know if it was going to work. I said, I really didn't even know if it was going to work. I was just sort of left. I said it didn't work. It was going in the trash, and I just wasted food. But it came out really, really nice. I tried them with beer, and I didn't use shortening. I was very careful that I used butter with it to give it a creaminess. I wanted the creaminess to work with that bone broth in the biscuit. I used a very simple biscuit recipe, and I didn't use baking soda, so I don't know how it would be with baking soda because I make my own baking powder. And it turned out really nice. They had such flavor that was unbelievable. I mean, when I don't have to ask them how the biscuits were and they came and told me, I knew how good they were. I'm going to saute these vegetables. And saute means to pre-cook. Now, I found 2 nice vinaigrettes that we're going to be making next week. No, Kathy. So you can see I have protein with the chicken, the eggs, and the powdered milk, and the cheese. I get the B vitamins and minerals from the vegetables and the flour that I'm using. And the pasta will be cooked in the chicken sauce that's left with vegetables. I think I have vegetable stock in there, maybe chicken stock, but anyway, there'll be stocks that'll be cooked in. So there's going to be a lot of protein and nutrition all throughout the meal. Now you cannot add milk to this right away because the flour is raw, and what you want to do is you're going to saute and cook it. It'll have like a toasted, as it cooks, you'll have like a toast smell to it with vegetables, and that's what you're looking for. Other than that, you get a pasty taste because the flour is raw. Excuse me. Now I'm trying to make some European French bread. If I get it down, we're going to start making European bread. The dough is going to be handled differently. It's going to give you some problems. Believe you me, I've already thrown 3 loaves out to get this one down. But I finally got it, I think. So I want to bring you into French bread making. I'm going to be using my mixer. You'll learn how to make a window pane test. So for those of you that have major sourdough cultures, you got it going. Because you're not going to be able to use yeast with this except with a sourdough culture. And I've got like 3 more books. I've got a lot of books on different breads and different ways of making them. But once this works and I know what they want, we'll be able to work with it. Stir it to make sure it does not burn, because you're going to feel it sticking. Use your equipment to feel through. This is another trick you have to learn. When you cook, you have to be able to feel what's going on the bottom of that pot through the utensils that you're using. That's how you know. You don't stir in the middle. You make sure you get in those corners as well, because it's always going to burn around here. One of my sons likes to do this in the middle, so that's not doing it. That's not cutting it. You've got to get into these corners. And you've got to be able to feel your way through it. You're going to add the cheese now. You can use a different cheese if you wish. I am using what Texas calls rat cheese, which is known up north as cheddar cheese. You're going to see it's going to get really thick. If it gets too thick, I'll be adding some milk to it to thin it out a bit. And then we'll get the pasta going. I could have done the pasta with this, but I said, oh, what the heck. I just do what I take my time now. Like I said, I'm not in a hurry anymore. I have quieter days. I have the time to do this. Small children, you're probably racing all the time. And how long am I going to stir? Until the cheese melts. See, I can feel it wants to stick. So a lot of these things for women who know how to cook, when I mention it, you say, I already know it. But those that don't know and say, why is it burnt? Why does it do this? Why does it do that? This is to explain and help you so you can see that I do it. Like you saw, I didn't have a big enough saucepan to make the fried rice. What did it do? It left a mess. I had to put it in. I have to remember to put it in a bigger pot. That happens every time I make it because I keep on forgetting. I should make a note on my recipe that I have to sit there and use a bigger pot so it doesn't come up and over the edge. Either I'm going to end up cleaning the stove every time, or either I'm going to learn my lesson. I gotta turn the handle here. Still see the streaks of the cheese. Not much though, very little now. Put your chicken in and your eggs. That's too thick, I need a little thinner, so we'll add more milk. This is where you have to adjust it. I can't really tell you. Now, if you don't want to make a casserole, you can take this and you can pour it over biscuits. You know, if you want to do it that way. Yeah, that's better. I can deal with that. Just waiting for this to heat up, and we're done with this. Oh yeah, I had, let's see, chicken stock, vegetable stock, and the lovely juices from the can chicken. What you have to do is taste it for salt and pepper. So that is pretty much it. I already told you how I'm going to do the pasta. I am going to use, here is the water from the chicken, from the canned chicken, my vegetable stock, and my chicken stock. I'm going to use all of that so you can imagine how rich this meal is going to be. All right, let me get the pasta, and when we go to put it in the oven, put it together, I'll show you. Now, I don't use 100% stock. I do dilute the stock, whatever stock I'm using for the pastas. But I have all, because I know my stocks are concentrated, so I can dilute them, and then this way I get the flavor, but it's not so overpowering, you know, to deter you from eating the pasta. That should be enough for and the only pasta I have left are these. And I know how to make these now. Oh well. I'll get around. And these look like they are whole wheat, which I would be happy with. I would not complain. Never do. Yeah, all natural. Yeah, they look like they're whole wheat. No, it's semolina. Now see, I told you there's a lot of B vitamins, right? They only add riboflavin, folic acid, thymolin, niacin. Gee, that's only like 4 of them. There's a lot more than that. That's why I want to make my own pasta and stuff. And that's why I have to use the whole wheat to counteract, because this only has 4, it's going to throw the other ones off. So by adding the whole wheat there and doing what I do, I compensate for what's missing in here. So I will get them all together. So I will see you in a bit. Okay, the pasta's done. I'm stirring it around now. I greased a 9, maybe 9x6. Hope it fits. But I greased it because I want to make it easy to clean. That's why I do it. We were taught that from young. When you grease the pans that you're baking in, they come clean easy. And when you spend time doing a lot of dishes and stuff, believe you me, that becomes a blessing. That's a step a lot of people out. They use aluminum pans, and then they can trash the aluminum pans. We had a picnic and stuff. We brought the stuff home. We'd use paper plates to eat because my mother didn't want to lose her dishes. But she did make sure we brought all the pans and serving dishes back. We had paper plates to eat out of, you know, with the plastic forks and knives and spoons. But the food was not served like that. Put some parsley on it. Oh yeah, I'm going to put wheat germ on it too. It's a nice nutty flavor. Come on, move Taffy. Now I'm going to put some cheese on it. What kind? I have no idea yet. set your oven at 375. I have a lot of Parmigiano, so I guess I'm going to use Parmigiano. Only because I have a lot. So you could take a simple meal and make it more elaborate than what it is by just doing other things to it. And like I said, I like to eat. If you're going to eat, eat. Don't play around with it, you know. People think, what do you mean? You get in there and you really make some good dishes, you know. Sprinkle the cheese over it. How much am I using? I couldn't even tell you. I just put it on till I'm content. I just might use this whole piece, just finish it up. It's gonna be cheesy, pasta, flavors just screaming in your mouth. Here it is, it goes in the oven, so heat it through, and it's done, that's it. I'm setting my oven at 375 when it starts to boil, and the cheese is melted and toasty. It's done. Okay, here it is. I just took it out of the oven. You'll probably see it bubbling, but that's it. That is a chicken casserole. A nice meal, quick, and you can feed like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8 people on it. If you add all that protein and stuff into it, they can't eat as much. This goes excellent with the salad. A green salad is usually what I have, but I'm out of greens, so I'm gonna have to find something else. But anyway, you take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.